is extremely comprehensive. So you see, what I have tried to do is in my program, I have tried to include what is most important and what you will actually use in with your children from 2.5 to 6, unnecessarily including things, a lot of theory that is not going to be useful, which you can always read up from books, is not included in our course. And there is all the material that you will be using in the classrooms for all these 5 areas that I mentioned, except for sensorial, even sensorial. See, there are Montessori schools that are set up in countries like Africa in huts, and they've used card paper and grass and things like that to create material that can be used as Montessori material. And how will you be able to figure that out? In the program, for each and every activity, I have explained the details of what the material should be like. You see, so the color, the measurement, the weight, everything is mentioned in detail. So you will be able to create a lot of the material by yourself. That will save you a lot of money also, yeah? So if that is what you're intending to do. But what I was thinking is that if you are going to start your own little Montessori school, whether it's just with one classroom, in a Montessori, just with one classroom, you can have children from 2.5 to 6. So you don't need 3 classrooms, nursery, KG1 and KG2 and 6 teachers and so many eyes. You don't need that. You just start with one classroom, and just with one classroom you can start off your school. And then as you progress, you can add on more. So for this one classroom, you can, if you buy the material, the Montessori material, this material lasts you for more than 25 years. You see, this is all very sturdy material made with wood. So this lasts, and it's a great investment. It's not just what you can do in the classroom, but you can, start off with other things, like the children who have not had the opportunity to go through the Montessori course. Maybe they just have gone on to the first and second, and they're still struggling with understanding their math and their language. You can still have special classes for them on Saturdays and Sundays, and help those children to use this material and catch up with whatever they have lost. So there is a lot that happens with the material. You can, if you're starting the school, even if you're not, as I said, you can manage. Now, another very important thing that happens in online classes is, what I understood is, I have taken classes both offline and online. In offline classes, so we have this classroom, and there are like 50 to 60 students, maybe less. There were some classes where there were only 20 students. Even then, we show the presentation once. This is how you work with the material. And they quickly take down notes, and they were not even allowed to take pictures and no videos and all these things, you see. But in an online course, I have recorded everything. So the process of the presentation can be seen, and I have provided with pictures, with notes. So all of that is there in front of you, and you can use that all your life, you see, which will not happen in an offline course. So all this is included in your online course. You can keep watching. You have not understood the presentation, watch again till you really get it. You keep practicing, and it's all happening at your own pace. There is no rush. You don't have to get dressed up and reach somewhere at a particular time, traveling. All that is excluded in an online course. And even if you're going to some your cousin's house or somewhere, you can, as long as you have an internet connection, you can always continue with your course. So there is no break. It's all at your convenience. You you go according to your own pace. So I find a lot of advantages to online courses. Yeah.
I think I have many questions here. I would pick up from participants. It's Mrs. Iyer asking, most of the teachers in UAE are EYFS based. Can we show justice by bringing both EYFS and Montessori like the best practice?
Yes. You see, I have compared the two courses. EYFS is mostly used in the Gulf, also in Dubai and places like that. When I started my Montessori school, and when they came to inspect, they did not utter a word, because they could see that it was a lot more advanced than I'm not trying to boast, or I'm not trying to make tall claims, but I have seen the syllabus of what is covered in EYFS. We covered everything that is there in EYFS, plus a lot more. A lot more happens in a Montessori school. So you don't have to worry about that unless you're just thinking about your certification. Of course, you will get your diploma, you'll get your Montessori diploma. We provide that to you, which is internationally recognized. And, my students in Dubai, they got it, they send the diplomas here to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They stamped it and sent it. So it's all there. You see, it's all in place. You don't have to worry about that. But Montessori course is something that you really need to consider, whether, wherever in the world you're planning to do it. It is applicable anywhere in the world you go. Montessori classes are going on. And even if you're not getting into a Montessori school, it's just an ordinary nursery or anything, you can be sure that you know a lot more than what is required in an ordinary curriculum. Yeah.
And there is another question. The educational tools are specific and costly under Montessori. How do we plug the gap to practice Montessori purely?
Can you please repeat that?
The education tools are specific and costly under Montessori. How do we plug the gap to practice Montessori purely?
I think I already answered that question in the beginning. Because you think that the material is expensive, but I had joined one school which was like they had one whole room full of worksheets, and every day they were running to take printouts and things like that. And teachers were so hassled. What shall we teach next? And they're going on Pinterest and trying to find worksheets. All that does not happen. You don't have any of these costs. You don't have to do all this, creating worksheets and books and all of that. And this material, as I said, will last you for more than 25 years. I'm saying 25. I have seen a teacher here in Koramangala. Her school has been running for 30 years. You might just need to do a little, paint job or a little repair, but this material will last you a long time, because the children also are taught how to handle the material. They are not throwing things and all. They actually very, with a lot of love they carry and they place it. So all those cultures are inculcated in the children. So your material will really last. And a lot of things can be made by yourself. You see, we have introduced Montessori in government schools sometimes where they are not able to buy a lot of expensive material. So the bead material we have actually made with the beads ourselves. Or you can even make, with ice cream sticks. You just have to be a little innovative, On ice cream sticks, you just color that, and mark the beads. A lot of things can be done. A lot of things can be done with cardboards. So you don't really have to worry about the tools. They are not tools. They are like materials. We call them Montessori materials, and they are not used as teaching aids. They are used by the children to teach themselves. Yeah. So don't worry about the cost of the material at all, I would say.
Okay, so what is the duration of the Montessori course and certification? Is it certificate or diploma?
It's a diploma. It's a diploma, and it's entirely up to you how fast you can go through it, how many hours in a day you can give it, you see, because as you keep completing, so we have divided the entire program into 8 modules where all these 5 subjects are covered. And as you keep going, you finish one module and then you have some assignments, you will do some project work. That project work is where I have shown you how to create some material for the school. You see, that will save you a lot of expenses in setting up your school. So that is also included. And as you complete each module, you have a little questionnaire, and you will answer those questions. That is for us to understand whether you have understood it or not. It is not a test for you. It is a test for us to see whether you have really understood and got the essence of what we were trying to convey to you. And we will have every week, every 2 weeks, we will have joint classes like this kind of Zoom classes where, you can share your experiences, share your doubts. Somebody else comes up with a question which you may not even have thought of, you see. So you learn from each other, and then you really have to learn from each other, because that is what you're going to teach to your children, right? So first you need to do that. You need to learn to cooperate and coordinate, and you will get a lot of material from each other with sharing. Once you sort of do that. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted with the question. I'm sorry about that. So once you learn to coordinate with the other teachers and learn to share your work, you will have so much material with you. And then we are always available online. You can ask, you can write to us, and we can answer your questions. Whether you take my course or not, I'm always there. My purpose is to spread the Montessori to all children of the world. So whether you take up my program or you take up any other program, you're always welcome to write to me I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, and my email address is there. You can always write to me and ask for any kind of help that you require.
Yeah, I think, this one is very interesting. And as I'm working on this, Shipra asks here, what are the factors affecting mental health of teachers, and how can we improve the mental health, of teachers? And I think you can answer.
Yeah, you see, for a teacher, in a conventional school, I'm not saying all conventional schools, but there is so much pressure, because you see, you have one classroom full of, say, minimum there will be like 20 children, isn't it? You won't have less than 20 children in a class. Say you are in an LKG class, and you have all 3.5-year-olds, 23.5-year-olds, all of them requiring your attention at the same time. So, and they are all singing, and you have to sing louder than them to be heard. But what happens in a Montessori classroom is you have children from 2.5 to 5.5. So there are 3 age groups. Say the new children are coming in, say 10 new admissions have come in. You already have 20 children who are older. So they are busy working, and they're doing their own things, and they're helping each other. When these 10 little ones come in, believe me, when I used to get my admissions in Dubai, and this child used to cry, and my older children would come, and they just take their, hold their hand and take them to the class, and they are lost in the class, and the parents are like, what happened? Where is my child? So they all get absorbed, because there are so many older children in the class to look after them. So the teacher is very, very relaxed. That is such an important factor for a teacher, to be sort of relaxed, so she can really think and teach the children, not just thinking about how to shut these children up and how to get their attention and how to finish my syllabus. That syllabus thing is not there. The syllabus is so individualized and so beautifully arranged for each and every child. The teacher is really, really relaxed. Another thing that I would say to teachers as such, we all have problems at home. I don't think we have been brought to this world because others would all be in heaven, right? Yeah, so we are in this world because we have to go through certain problems. So I tell my teachers, when you come to the school and you lock your door, please lock all your problems over there and then come to the school, because then you transfer it to the children. But the children are so compassionate. Somehow they figure out, they come and they put their arms around you and say, Auntie, are you all right? And, they are so compassionate. You really love to be in a Montessori class. That's all I would like to say.
I think, yeah, Pinky, you can unmute yourself.
Hi, Shipra.
Thank you so much, ma'am, Miss Pooja, ma'am, and Miss Tawa for answering my questions so thoroughly. Thank you so much. And the session really has been so informative. It was an amazing.
Thank you. I'm glad it's of help to you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, Pinky, you wanted to speak. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Pooja. Hello, Miss Maqsooda. Your session has been really informative. I have a quick question.
Sure.
How do you look at having a mixed age group class? Because I've been teaching for a long time, and with COVID, post-COVID, we used to mix up classes. I had FS1, FS2 mixed up. For FS1 children and parents, families, it was okay to have FS2 children in the class, but for FS2, it was not okay to have FS1 younger children in the class, because my children are not growing. They are becoming babyish. They're talking babyish. So big time problem for the parents. For me, it's okay. I couldn't blend it and we could differentiate in our teaching.
Yes.
But how do you see that having, and in Montessori, we are looking at from 2.5
yes.
to 5.
Yes. To 6.
It's a big,
to 6.
big,
To 6
Yeah, to
actually. To 6.
All of
yes.
them in the same room.
All in the same room, yes. And they're all doing their own work according to their level. So when you see, you can think about it as a family. You see, when you have only one child in your house, and then, you have your second baby, you will always find that your second child is smarter than the older one, because he has an additional teacher in the house, the older sibling. So they will learn a lot from the older children. Now I understand what you're saying, that the older children's parents were raising a question that, oh, my children are not learning and they are sort of held back. That cannot happen. You see, we have the last age group that is there, that is from 4.5 to 5.5, 6. There are 10 teachers in the class. You see, what I don't know what they do and what they talk, but if we are not able to explain something, or we find ourselves busy, we tell the child, can you explain this to this child? And they're more than happy to explain that activity to the child. So what is happening for the child? Can you imagine the kind of self-confidence that builds up for that child? When he's explaining to somebody else, he's teaching some other child, so he's learning to share and care. There is no competition. Unhealthy competition does not happen in a Montessori class. And when he is teaching something to the younger child, what he has learned gets reinforced. You see, he gets, and then it's not like we're completely leaving it. We are keeping an eye on it to see whether all is going well. We would ask only a child who has really understood the concept and has been working for so long. Only then we ask the child to teach another child, and we don't even have to ask. Believe me, it just goes on so naturally in the class. And then this whole group remains together for 3 years. That's, so say the child joins at 2.5, he is in the same class with the same teacher, with the same group for 3 years. So you can imagine the kind of bonding that happens over there, and the kind of understanding that the teacher has of the children. It all goes very, very beautifully in a Montessori class. We have so much of cooperation, coordination, and each child's work is supervised individually. So we keep records to make sure that, okay, this child has learned yellow and blue, but he doesn't know red, and this child knows red and yellow, he doesn't know blue. All these kind of records are kept, you see. So it is a very, very individualized program. No child gets left behind. No, absolutely no child gets left behind. And there is no competition, there is no homework, no reports, in the sense, no grades given. Reports are only talking about the child and his mental health, and how well he's doing, or I don't think I have ever written a negative comment about any child. They all do so well. We have had special children who were just left in our school, saying that just keep the child for an hour, maybe they will just be with other children. And those children have come out of their slight deviations because of the Montessori environment, So that I am all for vertical grouping. It's called vertical grouping. I have written some articles on my Facebook. If you drop in your email ID or something, I will send you that article that I have written on vertical grouping and how it works, And if there is anything more that you would like to know, I will be very happy to share. But vertical grouping absolutely works. You have to get the parents out of that thought, that my child has to come first and my child has to be the best, copying and all this thing. It doesn't happen. That's not how we should bring up our children. They really have a problem when they grow up and they go to work and they have this competitive mentality. It doesn't happen. If they learn to work together, they will be healthy and happy. That's what we need to inculcate, and that's what happens in a Montessori class.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. Now that you've spoken, I have another question.
Yeah.
You said that the children stay in the Montessori class for 3 years. Is it all around the world? Is it
all around the world? All around
Yeah?
the world. Yes. All around the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Yeah. If it doesn't happen, it's not a Montessori school. Yeah.
Ah, really? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because
And
we have some schools where they make all this khichdi, they say, oh, we do little Montessori and little this and little that. That's not how it works. It has to be this kind of grouping and this kind of vertical grouping and this kind of atmosphere. Only then the Montessori method works beautifully, you see.
Okay. So the group stays together for 3 years.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
With the
great.
same
That was
teacher. Yeah,
nice
same
to
teacher.
know.
Yeah. You're
Yeah.
welcome. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you for
Yeah.
the question.
I had a group for 2 years. They were in a nursery class, and then the group and myself moved to FS1 together. So it was really nice. We did become a family, but
Yes.
1 year is also a good time to become a family and bond. It's very difficult to say them goodbyes to.
See, there's one more thing that I really want to share. You see, the parents put the child in one school, in a nursery, and say we want the child to be social. And then now he's social. Now I put them in this bigger school. That's not how it happens. Let me ask you. You want to go. You have to go attend a party, okay? And you got used to this group of friends. Does that make you social? So you go to another party and you're like social and you're dancing with everybody. No, it doesn't happen. Each group has its own socializing that happens. And to put these very little children in that trauma, of socializing with different groups every year, it's not really right. They're not at that age.
Okay, that's a valid thing. Yes.
Yes, I think, I have one more, very important question, which is asked by many in our previous sessions also. How smooth is transition from Montessori to traditional schools?
Okay. So first of all, if you're talking about the syllabus, the Montessori children are far ahead of a conventional school. Yeah, they're far ahead. So you don't have to worry about the academics. If you're talking about the culture of a classroom, then what happens is when we have this 2.5 to 6 year group, the last 6 months, not 6 months, I'm sorry, about 4 months, the last 4 months that the child is with us, the 5.5, 6-year-olds, we take them to a separate classroom kind of environment. And we make them sit on benches and then raising hands and writing and give them some worksheets. And we introduce them to this culture of classrooms, you see. So, and we speak a little more sternly, like how it would happen in a conventional school. So that entire culture is introduced to them. So they go to their class, they know that this is how we have to behave. This is where, because the complaint is that, children, Montessori children are walking around and they're doing whatever they like. That's not right. Yeah, that's not right at all. But we do inculcate this culture in them that, okay, this is how you have to work on a worksheet and you have to finish in a particular time, and you cannot ask each other, and there is no coordinated learning as it happens in Montessori. So all these things we introduce to them. And then when they go into conventional schools, they have absolutely no problem. In fact, when there was a time when we were worried, will our children be taken on the initial stages? We were worried. We went to conventional schools and we said that, can you please take our children? And then they put our children through an admission test. And my children were like very relaxed because they are not used to this tension and exam and all. They don't think about it. They just came and they said, Auntie, it was all baby stuff, And then after that happened, and all my children, I had 5 children initially, all 5 got 100 over 100. Within minutes they were like out. After that, my children didn't have to go through admission tests. Any children coming out of my school got admissions wherever they were. And after a couple of years, those schools were offering us money. They said, we give you so many thousand if you send your child to our school. That's how it happened, you see. I don't know how to put this, but I'm so impressed with the method.
Yeah, and I think we will take one last question. What is the Montessori approach to art?
To art?
Yeah.
You see, we don't separately sit and teach them art. It is done with a lot of, when we have this geometrical material, and with that itself, they start their artwork. So they place all these shapes and they create their own designs and then they fill it up with color. So that's how they do it. And even when they're making their little booklets, they're making a booklet in geography. So they are, tracing out the shapes of the states and then coloring it in. And then they make these little borders and then they write and, they beautify their work. So that's how art goes on. And then, of course, we do have a separate sort of craft kind of thing where they do the cutting and pasting and all that. It just goes on the side. I wouldn't really say that, oh, it's a big art class or something, but it does happen. We do have that happening on the side. Yeah, we do have.